Welcome traders to yet another educational video of weekly sectoral analysis. And in today's educational video, I'll be starting from the monthly time frame charts of Nifty futures. I guess everyone is trying to understand why this bounce back has happened all the way from somewhere around 15,780 to a possible close of 16,326. So the first signs I think are visible in the monthly time frame chart, which is a very simple thing that we were at a recent low. Price was trading at a recent low. I think just a couple of months back, price had bounced from here, and this was a recent low in the monthly time frame chart. And one big thing which possibly many people are avoiding is, according to me, the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement. Generally, when the trend is exceptionally large, all right, what I'm trying to say over here is just try to check the size of this uptrend in comparison of this uptrend or this small swing or maybe even this one, right? So this is an exceptionally large uptrend. So generally in a very exceptionally large uptrend, 23.6% Fibonacci retracement acts as a very good support. So I think we are near long-term supports, and this is the reason why we have a bounce back from here. Now, the trend as of now in the longer term charts is completely flat because price is trading in between both of the moving averages. In weekly time frame chart, we should not forget that the trend is still down. Yes, only in the monthly time frame chart the trend is flat. In the weekly time frame chart, we have bounced from the previous support over here, and possibly we do have a good candle pattern in last couple of weeks, but we should not forget we do have a resistance up higher. What happens from here on is very, very important. If you look at the daily time frame charts, yes, we had a decent pullback and then again sell off, especially this day. I think 25th of May was a day when possibly some sort of selling pressure was evident. But after this day, we do have a very good pullback in the form of a hammer, and then we have a very small hammer. But we should not forget that somewhere over here is a very big resistance, and this resistance band is present between 16,643 and 16,503. All right. So this is an important resistance band. So if the pullback continues, because what has been happening is, I think 2 to 3 times price has faced a resistance and market has dropped down. Now this is the possibly, I guess, the 4th time price is trying to retest. In case if we surpass this zone, now this zone is somewhere around 16,400. So if we surpass 16,400 on the upside, then I think the next resistance band will be somewhere around 16,500 to 16,650. What happens from here on will be more important. And even the trend as of now in the daily time frame chart is absolutely flat. It is not in an uptrend. Let's have a look at Bank Nifty futures. Now, Bank Nifty futures in the recent, I think, last couple of days has, pulled back very nicely, and it has outperformed Nifty futures. And one of the very important reasons for that is this particular support. This was the previous high, I think, in December 2019. Already once, if you see, there has been a pullback in Bank Nifty, and I think this is the second time. And this time we do have a Dragonfly Doji, and Dragonfly Doji is one of the most bullish candles in candlestick pattern. All right. So this is something which we should take notice of. If I cross check the weekly time frame charts, yes, I completely agree that we have back-to-back 2 green candles. But one more thing, we should not forget that the trend is still down. We are not in an uptrend in the weekly time frame. We have just bounced from a long-term support, but nothing more than that as of now, because we'll need more confirmation that in case if this is the permanent, you can say sort of a bottom out and we are going to head for a breakout. Nothing such sort of things are visible as of now. I think we'll need to wait patiently. With time, we'll understand and market will tell us automatically what's going to happen ahead. If you check price currently, we are currently trading somewhere around 50%, not exactly, but somewhere around that 50% zone. And this zone, you can see, this is a very good resistance band for Bank Nifty futures, and especially from 35,630 to 36,100. This zone I'm considering as a strong resistance band for Bank Nifty futures. What happens over here, I think we'll need to wait and watch and see what happens, because many times it happens that we do have a steep pullback. Generally in a trading market or in a bear market, pullbacks are generally steep. People might think that this is such a steep pullback that Bank Nifty futures has been able to bounce from 33,000 levels to almost 2,500 by 2,600 points. But friends, do not forget that the correction in the last couple of months was even bigger. So in such a large correction, this much sort of retracement, I think it's very normal. What happens after the retracement is very, very important. So we'll need to wait with time and understand what happens. And I think so the surprise over here came from the private banking space. I think in one of my videos, I had mentioned that a couple of banking stocks, private banking stocks were showing signs of selling pressure at higher levels. And I think similar sort of candles were visible. But what happened that in those couple of stocks, I think those were Axis Bank and ICICI Bank. In both of these stocks, we never saw a down move happening, basically. All right, we never had a confirmation. A confirmation will only come that when you have a negative candle and then follow through selling happens. So the follow through selling never came, and you can see a very good pullback happening in the Bank Nifty futures, especially in the private banking space. If you compare this pullback with PSU banking space, then PSU banking space have underperformed private banks in the recent short term, but still I think they are hanging on to their long-term supports. You can see over here, they are hanging on to the long-term supports. And one of the banks, according to me, in the private banking space, which was, responsible for a very steep pullback was HDFC Bank. And this HDFC Bank also has been able to pull back very nicely from its long-term supports. So I think in few stocks, in few sectors, long-term supports are now working. And I think with time, patiently, we should wait and watch and understand what happens, because even over here, if you can see, HDFC Bank is heading towards a resistance band. Whether it will test over here or not, I don't know. But if you just draw a plain retracement chart, we are already near the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement. And do not forget that this is a very big downtrend in comparison to the recent short-term down moves. We should not forget. So yes, we are at a resistance, and I think we'll need to wait and watch and understand what happens over here. If you check the metal pack, to understand the metal pack, we'll have to go to the monthly time frame chart. In the monthly time frame chart, we do have a breakdown. You can see this channel breakdown, trend line breakdown over here, and there is no doubt about that. In the weekly time frame chart, what has happened is that we do have a breakdown, and then after the breakdown, somewhere over here, we do have a hammer. All right. Same thing is visible over here. And if you check properly, some sort of positive divergence is visible if you compare this low with this low, and if you compare RSI, then some sort of divergence is visible. According to me, this divergence, this positive divergence in RSI is not that powerful. It's not that powerful. Probably some consolidation, sideways move, or little bit of pullback is probable, but the trend is still certainly down, and this would be, if at all it happens, it would be just a short-term pullback, nothing more than that. And as of now, you can see the trend is still down, and even in the weekly time frame chart, prices are trading below both of the moving averages. So the trend is even down there. Only thing is we do have a hammer over here. So I think in next week, we'll understand what sort of price movement do we see. Auto pack has been one sector which has surprised many people, including me, and we can see auto pack has started a decent uptrend in the daily time frame chart, but although it is still trading near resistance of trend line. Now, if you just check the monthly time frame chart, it is looking very, very impressive even in the monthly time frame chart, because prices are trying to stick their neck out even in the monthly time frame chart above both of their moving averages. In weekly time frame also, price is trying to pop up. I think in weekly time frame chart, things are not that great, but still I think they're trying to improve. And in daily time frame charts, things are looking okay. Now, according to my analysis, there are a couple of stocks which I have noted down over here, which I'll share with all of you. First one is Eicher Motors. Eicher Motor charts are looking decently impressive. All right, they are already in an uptrend in the daily time frame chart. So if you have some sort of consolidation or a drop, and after the drop, if you have a rise, then I think we might have a very good, decent swing trade over here in Eicher Motors. One more stock which I have noted down according to me is, I think, which is already outperforming since pretty long time, and that is Bajaj Auto. Bajaj Auto is also one stock which outperformed somewhere over here. Then we saw a sell-off. Now again, it's trying to stick its neck out. In the weekly time frame chart also, it is looking okay. It's not great, but at least it's really good in the daily time frame chart. So if you have some sort of consolidation or a drop down, which is possible in this stock, and then after that, if you do have a rise, again, we can fancy our chances for a very, very short-term swing trade. It should be a very, very short-term lift. It should not be a very medium-term trade sort of thing. Now let's move ahead to a different sector. Finance pack. I think finance pack has more or less, if you check in the last few days, it is looking very, very similar to Bank Nifty futures. It's really funny. You can see three inverted hammers, and you can see two bullish belt holds, and same thing is visible even over here in the finance pack. So according to me, I think finance pack in the weekly time frame chart, the trend is still down, all right, but it does have some space left still for the pullback to continue even in the weekly time frame chart. So I think one should wait very, very patiently and understand where this pullback could end, and the probable resistance for this particular index lies somewhere over here. Now, what happens when it tries to trade somewhere over here, in case if this rally continues, and when it tries to, trade in this area from over here, from this zone, what happens is going to be very, very important. Do not forget this zone. This zone is between almost 16,600 to close to 17,000 levels. So this 400 point range is going to be very, very important for the finance pack. IT pack. Now IT pack, I think many times it has fooled many traders, even including me in the recent past, that many times it has tried to show that I'm trying to pull back, I'm trying to go higher, and then there is no confirmation. I'm not a trader. By God's grace, I'm not a trader who trades pullback on the long side or throwbacks on the downside, but it has showed signs, and again, it is showing me, you can see very, very clearly, we do have a positive divergence. We do have a bullish harami candle, and after this inside bar, we do have a close which is above the high of the previous bar. And if I convert this chart into the monthly time frame chart, prices are trading at 38.20% Fibonacci retracement, which is a longer term support. And if you look at the weekly time frame chart, we do have a decent candle over here. So there are signs of pullback, and I think if you check properly, prices are pretty far away in the weekly time frame chart. You can see where is the moving average, where is the price, plus the RSI in the weekly time frame chart is almost at 30. When was it at 30? I think possibly in the March of 2020. So you can imagine the type of momentum it has been witnessing in the last few weeks. So from here on, what happens, we need to wait and watch and understand, because it's a common sense that in case if Nifty futures wants to go higher, it wants to continue the pullback. You cannot just have one particular index which is leading the pullback, and that is Bank Nifty. Somewhere down the line, if Bank Nifty gets tired and it halts the leadership of the pullback should be taken by other sectors, and we need to find which are those. IT pack can be one of them, and we need to wait patiently with time. I think market will automatically tell you what it wants to do. Pharma pack, according to me, it is consolidating right now in the daily time frame charts, and it's giving really wild movements. And in the weekly time frame chart, we had a hammer, we had a bullish bell toll, and sudden you can see a sell-off happening over here. So according to me, as of now, I would like to stay away from pharma and concentrate on some other sectors. FMCG, in my last weekly sectoral analysis, I had clearly mentioned that it is one of the stronger looking sectors, and one of the main reason is it's trying to go higher in the monthly time frame chart. This is one of the very impressive looking charts, and in the weekly time frame chart it's looking okay. The monthly time frame chart is really excellent. Weekly is average, it's not that great, but it's still impressive in comparison to other sectors. And if you check daily time frame chart, it's looking awesome. And there are two stocks from my side. One is obviously ITC. ITC is possibly looking as a good swing trade for the upside. And second one, which I have already mentioned, I'm probably sharing this for the second or the third time, but I had shared this stock in one of my Nifty short-term view videos also a couple of days back, somewhere around at 2280. And from there, I think it has rallied almost by 2% till now. And it is looking good in the medium term as well as in the short term. But it will stay positive till the time it doesn't close below 2180 levels. Realty pack. Realty pack, let's check the monthly time frame chart. Monthly time frame chart, if you can understand, it is trying to bounce from its previous high. If I just zoom out a little bit, now if you look properly, you will be able to understand where is the price. Price is trading at previous highs. These previous highs were resistance. After price closed above this, in this candle, exactly this particular resistances now have become supports. So we are at a very important support level in the realty pack, in the monthly time frame chart. And one more thing, in the weekly time frame chart, we do have a hammer, and this hammer is trying to take support from this 127.20% Fibonacci extension and even this 100% Fibonacci retracement. So there is a possibility of a decent pullback, because if you check the daily time frame chart, we do have some sort of positive divergence. This is the first low, second low, and the third low. And all the three lows are lower than the previous one. But if you check the same thing in RSI, I'll just name them as A, B, and C. So all these lows are higher than the previous one. So there is a possibility of a decent pullback in realty pack. Considering obviously the pullback in the overall market, especially in the Nifty, if it continues, it will be even more helpful for the realty pack. And if you check the candles also, just apart from the divergence, because you cannot just be very, very confident about a reversal just on the basis of a divergence. You need to have some positive candles also. So you can see a hammer, a big green candle over here would add to a lot of confidence, especially in the mind of the bulls. Consumption pack. Consumption pack, according to me, the trend is flat in the monthly time frame chart. In the weekly time frame chart, the trend is down, but the price movement is really crazy. Very different type of candles I'm able to see. And according to me, it is just consolidating as of now. There is no further evidence of what would probably happen in the consumption pack as of now. So I would like to stay put, and I would like to wait patiently for some further confirmation from the price till next week. And then probably I'll have a rough idea about what could happen in this particular index. Mid-cap index. Mid-cap index, let's check the monthly time frame chart. Okay, in monthly time frame chart, I think we need to plot this particular Fibonacci retracement, and I'll try to remove this retracement. And you can see that it is trying to bounce off from the previous lows. Not a very impressive candle. This is not a very impressive. This is not a hammer. This is looking like one. It is certainly not a hammer. It is a candle which is a bearish bell toll, but it has a very large wick. So it clearly shows that bears were trying to, pull markets lower, but at the end moment, you can see bulls have come back and pushed the markets a little bit higher with a single hammer in this week. Even the previous week, we had a bearish type of candle. So I think we need to wait and watch and understand what happens possibly by next week. But some sort of consolidation, some sort of pullback, if it happens, I will not be surprised in mid-cap stocks. All right. So from my side, I have shared, one is auto pack, one is FMCG pack. Both are looking positive. IT pack is showing signs. Realty pack is showing signs for the pullback. Pullback is already continuing in the Bank Nifty futures, and all this buying is happening from the long-term charts, which is very, very important. So I think we need to be very, very vigilant in the market in next 1 or 2 weeks. All right. So trade well, trade wisely, stay safe. Thank you.